As Madden transitions towards next-gen consoles, I decided to rank the top 10 teams that stood out for me in the past 7 years of the Madden franchise on current gen. Whether it be that they were imposing from a pure talent perspective, or they were one of the best teams to exploit how the game played that year. So with that, alright, let's get it. Coming in at number 10 is the Madden 15 Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings hit my radar after landing Teddy Bridgewater in the draft. Now don't get me wrong, he wasn't wowing folks, but he was a better option than Madden 25's Matt Castle and Josh Freeman inaccurate self in a game where everybody ran strong power all day. So him teaming up with one of the best backs in the game in Adrian Peterson was money. Then you add, does anybody remember Charles Johnson, the wideout? He was tall and fast, so he was good. And this was when Cordero Patterson had an amazing trade value in leagues and was legit hard to stop with his 94 speed and the double juke being alive and well. So the offense could do some stuff, but it was their defense that made them a tough out, obviously. Everson Griffin, Floyd, and Linval Joseph were enough to rush the passer and shut down many run plays. And the speed of Madden legend Anthony Barr and 92 speed rookie Brandon Watts chased down everything. Watts was my user linebacker in online leagues that year, and I built him up to greatness. This is when it was super easy to use a block shed, so I got away with running around with him. And then many had the nerve to have a 97 and 98 speed cornerback on their squad. They weren't the most popular team that year, but whenever I used them, their personnel at key spots gave many teams problems that year. At 9 is the Madden 16 Carolina Panthers. The Panthers were a much talked about team to use when Madden 16 came out. And funny enough, they got a huge boost throughout the year, being this was when they went to the Super Bowl, so that was nice. Offensively, this was of course the Cam Newton and Jonathan Stewart stiff arm show. Despite the lack of speed, Stewart was still so dangerous in the open field, forming a dangerous running duo. I remember power option and inverted veers being very successful with this squad for good reason. See? Now of course this was the year of the aggressive catch, so it was nice to have Kelvin Benjamin on the squad to teabag corners into submission, and Greg Olsen to catch everything else. The way the game played this year, you really didn't get punished bad for Ted Ginn and his 92 speed being your only speed guy. Now their defense was loaded with studs. Kawan Short finished 16 out of 95, Charles Johnson at 88, and the most fun linebacker core to use this year was led by of course Luke Kuechly. The strip ball trade was very good to Thomas Davis, and Shaq Thompson being a great secondary user linebacker. Now Josh Norman's rise throughout the year gave the Panthers a much needed shutdown corner to go up against the Odells and Julios of the league as well, increasing their usage online. At number 8 is the Madden 15 Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys will always be one of the most used teams in Madden because, well, it's the Cowboys. But the Madden 15 Dallas Cowboys were a whole different animal, having a 96 rated Romo, 96 rated DeMarco Murray, who had 95 speed, 96 rated Dez Bryant, and Witten with his 74 speed was still able to destroy zones with his 92 rating. Offensively, along with a dominant offensive line that had Zach Martin in his rookie year finished at an 89, they were a headache to deal with. Defensively is where Dallas struggled the most, but they still had enough speed at the linebacker position where a user Bruce Carter or Rolando McClain gave you issues in the middle. Coming in 7 is Madden 17's Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan finished the season as the 3rd highest rated QB in the league at a 95, which made him and Julio Jones, who was the highest rated wide receiver to finish Madden 17, a dangerous combo in a game that made having beast receivers more noticeable. Though those two are what you think of when you think Atlanta, having Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman in the backfield gave them plenty of punch there as well. Coleman, the longtime underrated Madden back, has always played better than his overall suggests, and Freeman seemed to break more tackles from the user hitting the correct button that year than most. Atlanta also helped themselves out great in terms of Madden snagging user control stud Deion Jones and Campbell at linebacker to team up with a good only for this year Vic Beasley, where the CPU pass rush was noticeably better. And if you decided to test their secondary, Alfred and Trufant brought the necessary speed, and Trufant the overall skill to shut down many receiving cores. At 6 is the Madden 20 Kansas City Chiefs. With Mahomes gracing the cover, you already knew the Chiefs were going to be nasty, and with the new abilities players had, EA made it their mission to turn them into the best QB to ever grace the virtual gridiron. The 99 rated Mahomes had the ability that increased his throwing distance by 15 yards, able to escape the pocket faster than most, while faster QBs moved at a snail's pace, and pinpoint accuracy on crossbody and all throws out of the pocket. Yeah. They have a nice two-man backfield with Shady McCoy and Damian Williams, but of course Tyreek Hill, Watkins, and Kelsey is where it's at. Curiously enough, Tyreek Hill does not have any abilities and hasn't all Madden 20, which is only good news for non-Chiefs users. Losing Conley hurt their Madden prospects a tiny bit, but all they did was draft 96 speed Harmon. Al Davis will be proud. Their defense hurt them earlier in the year, but with Chris Jones gaining an X factor and Kyle Fuller and the Honey Badger improving, their secondary combined with the overall speed they have at linebacker and on the line rounded out the team a bit better, allowing them to make plays on offense and defense. Fifth is the Madden 15 Seattle Seahawks. Seattle being one of the most popular teams the previous year and the world champs, their offense still took a major hit losing Sidney Rice, Golden Tate, and in-season Percy Harvin. Rebounding a bit adding speedster Paul Richardson in the draft, but of course their popularity remained due to the wild hijinks you could do with Russell Wilson and Marshawn Lynch running trap in the backfield. And one of the best defenses ever assembled, Michael Bennett ended the year at a 96, Cliff Averill an 87, and Brandon Mebane at a 90. And they had the nerve to add even more speed in their linebacking core with Kevin Pierre-Louis, who had 90 to go along with 91 speed Bruce Irvin, and of course Bobby Wagner leading them all. Then had fun throwing on a 99 Richard Sherman and 95 Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor. Their defense was at the height of its powers during this Madden, making the Super Bowl again during Madden 15 cycle, and they made you earn everything every play. At 4 is the Madden 19 Kansas City Chiefs. Coming into 19 after finally trading Alex Smith, the Chiefs turned into a very attractive Madden team as they completely turned over the squad to Patrick Mahomes, who even before his MVP season boost had the necessary ratings where the Chiefs were quite usable online. Featuring good mobility and a cannon arm was nice to have on a team that featured Tyreek Hill, you know? And of course, he quickly rose up the ranks, finishing Madden 19 at a 94 rating, with 98 arm power and being able to hit majority of throws with ease. And teaming that up with 99 speed Tyreek Hill and even 92 speed Watkins and 93 Conley was tough business. The Chiefs did take a major hit losing Kareem Hunt, but like I mentioned, it happened as Mahomes' rating kept soaring. And the Chiefs had decent depth at running back for you to pick which back best suited your needs. By year's end, the Kansas City Chiefs proved to be the scariest offense in the game, with Mahomes throwing to uncoverable Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Watkins, and Conley. At 3 is the Madden 25 Seattle Seahawks. In the game that prioritized the strong running game, you would think they had beast mode and the Seahawks in mind when they made it. Avoiding getting trucked or stiff-armed by Lynch was a valued skill that many failed at. And if Lynch got tired, the Seahawks were able to throw out 93 speed Turbin and 92 speed Michael to run strong power with. And with the introduction of the pistol offense and runs like the QB wrap, it made having a running QB like Russell Wilson a lot more fun and dangerous. And they had a very good and diverse set of receivers with speedster Percy Harvin, Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, and Sidney Rice. Although this Madden put defenses at a disadvantage, not the Seahawks, who had enough speed at linebacker with Bobby Wagner and Bruce Irvin, enough guys to rush the QB, and a dominant secondary who had the size and skills to create even more of an advantage between them and the average Madden defense. Trying to avoid Cam Chancellor and Bobby Wagner hit sticks wasn't fun, and if they connected, you were sure to fumble the ball. In franchise this year, Seattle was the most sought after team by far due to how young all of their skill position players were at the time. Landing at number 2 on the list is Madden 20's Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson and the abilities he has been given allows plenty of users to relive their Madden 04 Michael Vick memories. But instead of a Brian Finneran to catch those Hail Mary throws, Jackson has speedster Hollywood Brown and his 97 speed running all over the field, with a very good running game in Mark Ingram and the offensive line to play how you want with Baltimore. I tried hard to grab them in franchise this year because of how young their skill position players are. Even low-rated guys like Miles Boykins and running back Justice Hill could do some stuff. Now it feels weird talking about the Ravens and not spend most of it on offense, because their defense, mainly their secondary, is still to be feared. With Marlon Humphrey and mid-season pickup Marcus Peters covering receivers, and Earl Thomas doing Earl Thomas things, they have playmakers. The Ravens aren't your typical team with a fast QB and nothing else. They could light you up for 300 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, and you can still struggle to score because of their defense. Now coming in at number 1 on Sports Gamers Online top 10 Madden teams on current gen is the Madden 25 San Francisco 49ers. While the Seahawks during this Madden year rose the ranks to become the dominant team you know them for, the 49ers followed up their Super Bowl appearance terrorizing Madden players with the most fearsome combo of big hit players Madden has ever seen, led by Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman, Eric Reed, Aldon Smith, Dante Whitner, and Ahmad Brooks. The 49ers had 6 players with 90 plus hit power by year's end, and I would have believed you if you said they had 11. If you dared use them online, you were assumed scum by default. Their big hit fumble ability was what tilted the scales for many in picking them over the Seahawks, because on offense they had just as dangerous of a threat at QB with Colin Kaepernick, with the pistol offense at his disposal, and in the backfield Frank Gore, and the only Madden ever when LaMichael James was a serious threat due to how the game played, with his speed and the amazing 49ers offensive line to run behind. Then you had new addition Anquan Bolden snatching the tough passes, and Vernon Davis outrunning any linebacker and safety that dared guard him. And the 49ers offered just enough upgrades at key spots while not dropping off much in others to jump the Seahawks that year. They also had the nerve to have a super fast cornerback to blitz with. It was a nightmare, which is why their overall impact on Madden 25 lands them at the top spot on Sports Gamers Online top 10 Madden teams this current gen. Sorry people, hope you enjoyed the video, and do you agree with the list? If not, what team from this current gen of Madden games do you think deserve the spot? Let me know in the comments down below. And stay tuned here at Sports Gamers Online for more Madden content. So make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and once you're with us, hit that bell icon at the bottom so you don't miss anything we put out. I'm Chris, thank y'all for watching, and be good y'all.